The story you tell yourself about your life is shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. Every experience you've had, every challenge you've faced, every success or failure has contributed to the narrative playing in your mind. And that narrative is what controls your actions, your beliefs, and ultimately your destiny. Most people live in a story that disempowers them. They repeat the same limiting beliefs. I always mess up. I'm not good enough. I was never meant for success. These beliefs don't come from nowhere. They are built from past experiences, moments of rejection, failure, disappointment. But here's the truth. Your past does not define you unless you let it. What separates the people who rise above adversity from those who stay stuck? It's not luck, it's not talent. It's the ability to reframe their story. Think about this. Two people can experience the exact same setback. One person sees it as proof that they'll never succeed. The other sees it as a lesson, a stepping stone to something greater. The event is the same, but the meaning they give it is completely different. And that meaning shapes their future. If you've ever failed at something and told yourself, I guess I'm just not cut out for this, that belief didn't come from the failure itself. It came from how you interpreted it. But what if instead you told yourself, this is making me stronger. This is part of my journey. This is a necessary step to becoming unstoppable. Reframing your story doesn't mean ignoring the past or pretending bad things didn't happen. It means taking control of the meaning you attach to those events. It means looking at every setback and asking, how is this serving me? Because everything in life is either a gift or a lesson. And sometimes the most painful moments turn out to be the greatest teachers. If you were rejected, maybe it was because something better was coming. If you lost, maybe it was because you needed to grow before winning. If you failed, maybe it was because that failure was the exact thing that would lead you to the success you truly deserve. Look at the most successful people in the world. Every single one of them has a story of struggle, failure, and pain. But the difference is, they didn't let those moments define them. They chose to rewrite the narrative. They decided that their past was not a limitation, it was their greatest advantage. Now, take a look at your own story. What's the narrative you've been repeating to yourself? Is it empowering you or is it holding you back? Because you have the power to change it. You have the power to take every hardship you've faced and turn it into fuel. You have the power to decide that you are not a victim of your circumstances, you are the author of your life. The moment you take ownership of your story, everything changes. You stop blaming the past. You stop waiting for things to get easier. You stop looking for outside validation. Instead, you step into your power. You start seeing every experience, good or bad, as something that is shaping you into the strongest version of yourself. And when you do that, you become unstoppable. Because the person who can reframe any challenge into an opportunity is the person who will always rise, no matter what. Your story is not over. In fact, the best chapters haven't even been written yet. So stop telling yourself the old limiting version. Step into the truth. You are not broken. You are becoming unbreakable. Let me tell you something right now. Whatever you've been through, whatever's tried to break you, it didn't win. You're still here. You're still breathing. And that means you're stronger than you think. Too many people walk around carrying the weight of their past, believing they're broken, believing they're not enough. But that's a lie. You are not broken. You are unbreakable. Every challenge, every setback, every failure has been forging you into something greater. The only question is, are you ready to own that power? Are you ready to step up and claim the unstoppable force that you truly are? Pain is inevitable. Every person on this planet, no matter how successful, wealthy, or strong, has faced hardship. The difference between those who thrive and those who crumble isn't the presence or absence of pain, it's how they use it. Most people view pain as something negative, something to be avoided, something that signals weakness. But that's the wrong perspective. Pain isn't an obstacle, it's a tool. It's a fire that, when harnessed correctly, can forge you into something unshakable. Think about the hardest moments of your life. Maybe you faced rejection, maybe you lost someone you loved, maybe you failed in a way that felt like you'd never recover. In those moments, you had two choices. You could let the pain define you, or you could use it to refine you. The greatest individuals in history, the ones who changed the world, are not the ones who had an easy road. They are the ones who turn the struggles into fuel. When you experience pain, your brain wants to do one thing: avoid it. That's natural. It's wired into us for survival. But what if, instead of running from pain, you leaned into it? What if you used it as a signal, as a lesson, as a guide? Because the truth is, pain is the greatest teacher you will ever have. It reveals your weaknesses, but in doing so, it gives you the power to strengthen them. It shows you what truly matters. It forces you to grow in ways comfort never could. Look at the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most inspiring leaders. Do you think they got where they are by avoiding pain? No. They faced it, embraced it, and used it as a stepping stone to something greater. Every failure was feedback. Every setback was a setup for a comeback. They didn't break under pressure. They became unbreakable because of it. But here's where most people go wrong. They get stuck in their pain. They replay the moment they were hurt. They tell themselves a story about why they're not good enough, why they'll never succeed, why things will never change. And that story becomes their prison. If you've been through something painful, and I know you have to ask yourself, am I using my pain, or is my pain using me? Because pain can do two things. It can chain you to the past, or it can propel you into the future. The choice is yours. If you want to be unbreakable, you have to shift your mindset about pain. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, how can I use this? Instead of saying, this is unfair, start saying, this is training me for something greater. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance, start seeing yourself as the warrior rising from it. Let's take a moment to think about the strongest materials on Earth. Diamonds, steel, volcanic rock, what do they all have in common? They were all forged under intense pressure and heat. They didn't start out unbreakable. They became unbreakable through the process. You are the same. Every difficulty you faced, every heartbreak, every failure, it wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to build you. Think back to a moment in your life when you thought you wouldn't make it through. Maybe it was the worst day of your life. Maybe you felt lost, hopeless, like there was no way forward. And yet, you did make it through. You're here, right now, reading this. That alone is proof of your resilience. That alone is proof that you are stronger than you think. The problem isn't pain. The problem is that most people never learn how to transform it into power. They suppress it, ignore it, or let it consume them. But the people who truly rise, the ones who achieve greatness, understand that pain is a gift. They don't run from it, they lean into it. They extract every lesson, every ounce of wisdom, every drop of motivation from it, and then they use it to fuel their next move. The truth is, the people who have had everything handed to them, who have never faced adversity, who have never been tested, they are the weak ones. They don't have the depth, the grit, or the unshakable spirit that only comes from walking through fire. So if you're going through something right now, if you're facing hardship, if life feels unfair, if you're carrying pain, don't ask for it to go away. Ask for the strength to use it. Ask for the clarity to see what it's teaching you. Ask for the courage to transform it into power. Because the most powerful people in the world aren't the ones who have never suffered. They are the ones who have suffered and still refuse to break. You are not broken, you are becoming. You are in the process of being forged into something greater than you ever imagined. You are not weak, you are unbreakable. Your external reality does not dictate your internal power. Too many people believe that their circumstances determine their success, their happiness, and their ability to grow. They think that because they were born into struggle, because they experienced failure, because life hasn't been easy, they are somehow destined to stay stuck. But the truth is, circumstances are temporary. Your mindset is what determines your future. Think about it. Two people can grow up in the same environment, face the same obstacles, and yet one will rise while the other remains stuck. Why? It's not about intelligence. It's not about talent. It's about perspective. It's about whether they believe their circumstances define them or whether they see themselves as something greater than their environment. The most successful people in the world, the ones who break barriers, the ones who achieve greatness, all have one thing in common. They refuse to let their external situation dictate their internal power. They choose to believe that no matter where they are, no matter what they've been through, they have the ability to shape their future. There's a simple truth in life. The person who controls their mindset controls their destiny. You cannot always control what happens to you. You can't control the economy, you can't control other people, and you can't always predict life's challenges. But you can control how you respond. You can control the meaning you give to every situation. And that control is where your power lies. When things go wrong, most people immediately focus on the problem. They get stuck in frustration, anger, self-pity. They ask, why is this happening to me? They focus on what they lost, what they can't change, what went wrong. But the people who become unbreakable, the ones who push through every obstacle, they don't waste time asking, why me? They ask, what can I do about it? Your focus determines your experience. If you focus on problems, you'll see more problems. If you focus on possibilities, you'll find solutions. The way you look at a challenge changes everything. If you believe something is impossible, your mind will prove you right. If you believe there is a way, even when you don't see it yet, your mind will start finding solutions. Your brain is always searching for proof of what you already believe. If you believe you're not good enough, you will find evidence to support that belief. If you believe you are capable of overcoming anything, you will find ways to make it true. This is why mindset is more powerful than circumstances, because your mind shapes how you experience everything around you. The problem is, most people have trained their minds to focus on the negative. They've spent years reinforcing limiting beliefs. I can't do this. I've always failed. This is just who I am. But those beliefs are not facts. They are simply patterns. And just like any pattern, they can be changed. If you want to become unbreakable, you must train your mind to work for you, not against you. You must start catching yourself when you slip into negative thinking and redirect your focus to what is possible. Instead of saying, this is too hard, say, this is a challenge that will make me stronger. Instead of saying, I've never done this before, say, this is an opportunity to grow. Instead of saying, I don't have the resources, say, I will find a way. It all starts with awareness. Pay attention to the words you use when you talk about your life. Pay attention to the thoughts that run through your mind when you face an obstacle. Are you reinforcing a mindset of limitations, or are you training yourself to see possibilities? The greatest transformations happen when you take responsibility for your mindset. The moment you stop blaming external circumstances and start focusing on what you can control, you step into your power. You realize that no one, not your past, not your failures, not other people, can take away your ability to create a new future. And when you master this, you become unstoppable, because no matter what life throws at you, no matter how hard things get, you will always have the power to adapt, to grow, and to push forward. Circumstances don't define you, your mindset does. And when you choose to take control of that, you will discover that you were never broken, you were always unbreakable. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth. Most people don't see it that way. They see difficulties as roadblocks, as reasons to stop, as proof that they're not capable. But the truth is, challenges are not there to break you. They are there to make you stronger. Think about the times in your life when you truly grew. Was it when everything was easy? Was it when you were comfortable? Or was it when you were pushed beyond your limits, when you were forced to adapt, when you had no choice but to rise? Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in discomfort, in struggle, in resistance. If you want to build a stronger body, you have to lift heavier weights, push yourself past fatigue, and embrace the burn. If you want to build a stronger mind, you have to face problems that challenge you, situations that test you, and moments where you don't know if you can keep going, but you do. The people who achieve greatness, who reach the highest levels of success, they don't run from challenges, they run toward them. They know that every difficulty is a chance to get better, to learn something new, to develop the resilience that makes them unstoppable. The problem is, most people avoid discomfort at all costs. They choose the easy path, the safe route, the option that feels good in the moment. But here's the reality. Easy choices lead to a hard life, and hard choices lead to an easy life. The more you avoid discomfort now, the more you suffer later. The more you embrace discomfort, the stronger and more capable you become. Look at the most successful people in any field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders. They didn't get to where they are by avoiding struggle. They got there by embracing it, by pushing themselves beyond what was comfortable, by choosing growth over ease, again and again. Most people see failure as the end. The best see it as the beginning. Most people give up when things get hard. The best see it as a test a challenge to overcome, an opportunity to build resilience. If you want to be unbreakable, you have to rewire the way you think about discomfort. Instead of avoiding it, welcome it. Instead of fearing failure, use it. Instead of looking for the easy way, seek out the challenge that will force you to grow. Your life will never be free of difficulties. But if you learn to see every challenge as an opportunity, nothing will ever be able to stop you. The harder the test, the stronger you become. The more resistance you face, the greater your potential. Pain is temporary, growth is permanent. And the person who embraces discomfort today will be the one who rises above it tomorrow. You are not weak, you are being prepared. You are not broken, you are becoming unbreakable. What you focus on determines the quality of your life. Every single day, you are presented with countless things you could give your attention to. Problems, setbacks, distractions, or opportunities, growth, and solutions. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck isn't luck, intelligence, or even talent. It's focus. Most people spend their lives fixated on what's wrong. They focus on what they don't have, on past mistakes, on fears about the future. They replay negative experiences in their minds over and over, reinforcing feelings of doubt, insecurity, and frustration. But here's the truth. Whatever you focus on, you feed. Whatever you feed grows. If you constantly focus on problems, your problems will expand. If you constantly focus on opportunities, your opportunities will multiply. Your brain is wired to find what you train it to look for. If you believe the world is full of negativity, unfairness, and struggle, your brain will search for evidence to confirm that belief. But if you train yourself to look for solutions, for growth, for ways to move forward, you'll start seeing possibilities where others see obstacles. Think about two people facing the same challenge. One sees it as overwhelming, impossible, a reason to give up. The other sees it as a puzzle to be solved, a lesson to be learned, a chance to get stronger. The challenge is the same. The difference is their focus. If you want to change your life, change what you focus on. Shift your energy away from what you can't control and put it toward what you can. Stop focusing on the problem and start focusing on the solution. Instead of thinking about what's missing, focus on what's possible. Instead of dwelling on the past, focus on the future you can create. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to direct your energy toward what will serve you. The truth is, life will never be perfect. You will always have challenges, but you always have a choice. You can either let those challenges consume you, or you can use them to fuel your growth. Think about the moments in your life when you felt stuck. Chances are you were focused on what was wrong, on the mistake you made, on the obstacle in front of you, on the reasons why things weren't working. But what happened when you shifted your focus, when you started looking for a way forward? That's when things changed. That's when you found solutions. That's when you broke through. Every moment, you are training your brain. If you consistently focus on problems, your brain will become an expert at finding them. If you consistently focus on solutions, your brain will become an expert at creating them. This is why successful people seem to have a different mindset. They have trained themselves to focus on what moves them forward instead of what holds them back. If you want to take control of your focus, start by asking yourself better questions. Instead of asking, why does this always happen to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of saying, I don't have what it takes, ask, how can I get better? Instead of thinking, I have no options, ask, what's one small step I can take right now? Your focus creates your reality. If you focus on what's possible, you will find ways to grow. If you focus on what's missing, you will always feel stuck. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who refuse to waste their focus on things that don't serve them. Energy flows where attention goes. So decide today, will you focus on what's holding you back, or will you focus on what's pushing you forward? The choice is yours. And the moment you take control of your focus, you take control of your life. You are not limited by your past, your circumstances, or your failures. You are only limited by where you direct your energy. Focus on growth, focus on solutions, and you will realize what has always been true. You are not broken. You are unbreakable. Your identity is the foundation of your success. Who you believe you are shapes every decision you make, every action you take, and ultimately the life you create. The problem is, Most people let their past, their failures, and the opinions of others define their identity. They accept labels like, I'm not smart enough, I'm not lucky, I always fail. And those beliefs become self-fulfilling prophecies. But here's the truth. You are not your past, you are not your mistakes, you are not the limitations that others have placed on you. You are whatever you decide to become. Every action you take is based on who you believe you are. If you see yourself as a leader, you will act like one. If you see yourself as someone who always gives up, you will reinforce that belief every time you face a challenge. The strongest force in human psychology is the need to stay consistent with who we believe we are. That's why identity is so powerful. If you believe you are unbreakable, you will prove it every time life tests you. The problem is most people never consciously choose their identity. Instead, they inherit it. They adopt beliefs from their family, their environment, their failures, and they accept them as truth. But the truth is, your identity is not fixed. It is something you create, something you reinforce every day with your thoughts and actions. Think about this. If someone has been a smoker for 10 years and they decide to quit, there are two ways they can think about it. They can say, I'm trying to quit smoking, or they can say, I am not a smoker. The first statement still identifies them as a smoker. It makes quitting a struggle because they still see themselves as someone who smokes. The second statement is powerful because it shifts their identity. And when your identity changes, your actions follow. The same applies to everything in life. If you want to be strong, you must see yourself as strong. If you want to be disciplined, you must see yourself as disciplined. If you want to be successful, you must see yourself as someone who does what it takes to succeed. It's not about faking it. It's about stepping into the version of yourself that already exists within you. If you have been telling yourself a story of limitation, of weakness, of failure, it's time to change that story. Stop identifying with struggle and start identifying with strength. Stop saying, I'm bad at this, and start saying, I am learning, I am growing, I am improving. The words you use to describe yourself matter. They shape your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your reality. Every single day you reinforce your identity by the actions you take. If you see yourself as weak, you will hesitate. If you see yourself as powerful, you will take bold action. The question is, which version of yourself are you feeding? You can decide right now to redefine who you are. You can let go of the old version of yourself that was filled with doubt and step into the identity of someone who is unstoppable. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't need validation from anyone. You simply need to decide. The people who achieve greatness, who rise above adversity, are not different from you. The only difference is they decided to see themselves as powerful. They decided that no matter what life threw at them, they would rise. And because they believed it, they made it real. This is the truth. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not a product of your past. You are a creator of your future. And the moment you shift your identity, the moment you decide to see yourself as strong, resilient, and unbreakable, that is the moment your entire life changes. Everything starts with identity. Choose wisely, because the moment you decide who you are, the rest of your life will follow. You are not broken. You are unbreakable.